Very good morning, teacher. I'm Khet and my number in list is 27. And today I'm gonna do the final video presentation. Okay, so let's get to the content. Here's my content. I choose chapter 11 to summarize, and which is about how to analyze your data. So the contents. The first is deciding which approach to use. The second is analyzing quantitative data. The third is analyzing quantitative data, and the fourth is measuring data, and conclusion is the last one. So please get to the first. Okay, so for measures you use to analyze the data will depend on whether you have chosen to conduct qualitative or quantitative research. Personal and methodological preferences as well as educational background will influence this decision. So deciding which approach to use. In this approach, the researchers try to solve their chosen method success in measuring what they intend to measure. Quantitative data analysis issues of validity and reliability are important. They want to make sure that their measurement is reasonable and developed, and there are no cheat from the other respondents. Okay, let's get to the next. They might also acknowledge that researchers bring their own preferences and experience to the project. And quantitative as well as qualitative data are analyzed in different ways. The researcher will conduct analysis as the study progresses, refining and reorganizing as needed in light of findings. For quantitative data, the study may be postponed until the end of data collection period, and statistical software is simplest and most reliable method to use if your survey is big. Let's go to the next. Okay, we talk about the analyzing qualitative data. So to add in the review of qualitative data, create an interview summary sheet or focus group summary sheet, which can complete as soon as possible after each interview or focus group. There are many different types of qualitative data analysis, so the method you use will depend on your research topic and your personal preferences and the time, equipment, and financial available to you. To be able to analyze your data, you must first create it in a format that is easily analyzed, and this may be a transcript from an interview or focus group, or a collection of the researcher's written work. It is helpful to think of the various types of qualitative data analysis as being on a continuum. Go to the next slide. Here is the example. So for example, a researcher may conduct 3 interviews using an interview schedule she has created ahead of time. Thematic analysis refers to the process of analyzing data based on a specific theme. This type of analysis is highly inductive, which means that the themes emerge from the data rather than being imposed by the researcher. Comparative analysis is closely related to thematic analysis. Using this method, data from various people is compared and contrasted, and the process is repeated until the researcher is satisfied that no new issues has arisen. It is possible to carry out the mechanical process using computing software, which can save you a significant amount of time. Short, it may prevent you from being intimately acquainted with the data. Let's get to the next slide. Alright, so continue. There are many different types of dedicated qualitative analysis programs available to social researchers that can be used for a variety of different tasks. For example, software could locate specific words or phrases, create word lists and alphabetize them, insert keywords or comments, count occurrences of words or phrases, or attach numeric codes. Let's move on to our next measure is analyzing quantitative data. So if you decide that a large survey is the best method for your research, you should have thought about how you're going to analyze your data by now. If you have computing software at your disposal, this should be the simplest and quickest way to analyze your data. Next. Okay, continue. For those who not access to data analysis software, a basic knowledge of statistical techniques is needed to your data. If your goal is to describe what you have found, all you need to do is count your responses and reproduce them. This is called a frequency count. Although frequency counts are useful starting point, quantitative data analysis, you might find that you need to do more merely describe about your findings. Often you need to find out if there is a connection between one variable and a number of other variables. For example, a researcher may want to find out whether there is a connection between watching violent films and aggressive behavior. So this is called bivariate analysis. Okay, so let's move to the next. However, data entry can be a time-consuming and laborious process, especially for those who are slow on the keyboard. And the incorrect data will have an impact on your results. If you are a student, spend some time getting to know what equipment is available for your use, as you can save yourself a lot of time and energy by adopting this approach. If you do not have access to data analysis software, you will need a basic understanding of statistical techniques to analyze your data. Although frequencies counts are a good place to start, where analyzing quantitative data, you may find that you need to do more than just describe your findings. Let's get to next. Okay, measuring data. So to progress beyond frequencies counts, it is necessary to first understand how data is measured. In nominal scales, the respondent answers a question in one of several mutually exclusive ways. Some questions provide a choice, but based on the categories provided, it is clear that the answers are from a scale. Interval scales, on the other hand, are numbers with a clearly defined intervals. This type of scales includes responses to questions about age, number of children, and household income. Quantitative data analysis can involve many complex statistical techniques which cannot be covered. Okay, let's get to the next. Okay, continue. In mathematics, if you want to find a simple average of the data, you would add up the values and divide by the number of items. This is called an arithmetic mean. This is the straightforward calculation used with interval scales, which specific figures can be added together and then divided. Let's move to the conclusion. Alright, so the method you analyze your data will depend upon whether you have chosen to conduct qualitative or quantitative research. And for qualitative data is very personal process. Ask the researcher to analyze a transcript and they will be probably come up with different results. And about their qualitative data analysis, methods can be viewed as forming a continuum from highly qualitative method to almost quantitative methods, which involve an element of counting. Alright, so this is the end of my presentation. Thank you too much for watching the video. I hope teacher really enjoys my video and take care. Thank you.